Welcome back, everybody, to Empyrion Galactic Survival Alpha 9.5.0, build 2294. I'm an old guy gaming, and we are approaching our contest site. Last Wednesday night, we had an any build contest where people were able to enter their original builds, and so I'm going to. I just want to kind of showcase some of the stuff that we did, and you know, kind of show you what it was all about, and show you some of these builds here. We are, of course, in the blacklight. It is fully functional now. I have a couple more things I need to still do on it before I actually get it ready for the workshop. But we are using the blacklight now, you guys, and really excited about that. So, if we... does he have everything down there? Looks like a couple things got moved around. But anyway, if we look at this, you know, from the air... you know what? Actually, let's do this. Let's park the blacklight, and we'll get up in the Jade Jet. Something a little smaller. We'll put the blacklight down right about here. This is where I had parked it earlier. The stealth stock CV was actually over on the right-hand side of the platform, but it's been moved. So I just need to make sure I got enough room to get the landing gears on the pad. Looks like we can do it right about there. Alright, cool. Let's turn the thrusters off. And what we're going to do is we're going to go up to the Jade Jet. And we'll use that to kind of fly around and look at stuff. But yeah, blacklight's ready to go pretty much. The one thing I need to still do from a functional standpoint, there's still, you know, little tweaks here and there, deco and stuff, but I learned that when I set up the sick bay here, I didn't know that the equipment that you can use to get rid of radiation and poisoning and that sort of thing is actually part of the medical base, and you can do that from the right click menu. So I've got some more medical bays cooking up back at my space station, and when we're done with this little showcase here, we'll go back there and I'll put those in place. And I might end up just removing those bunk beds and or the desk to put those in. So anyway, other than that, I'm pretty much done with version 1 of this ship. Like I said before, there's still probably several little things here and there that need to be done on it. But I think it's ready to go for prime time as version 1, or as the initial release. So let's go ahead and I hadn't done this on the YouTube video either. I did this right before we started our stream, but I also set up sensors, so now all the doors and ramps and so forth on the ship are all controlled by sensors, and so that's all been automated too. Alright, so let's hop on into the Jade Jet here. One thing I have on the list for working on the Jade Jet is seeing if I can upgrade it to use an armored cockpit and get rid of the glass that's covering it. Because when I get out of this, I get stuck in it. So, alright, how are we doing on fuel? We got a full tank of fuel, so we're good there. The camera gets really bizarre, you know, trying to get out of these bays. That's one thing about it that makes it a little tricky sometimes, because there's not a whole lot of clearance. And, you know, in retrospect, if I was to do this all over again, I probably would have designed all that to be just a little bit larger. But it works, and we make sure that it happens. So, okay, so let's go. Let's get a little altitude here. We'll just kind of take a bird's eye view of everything. So some of the stuff down here that you guys see was not in the contest itself, but it was just showcased for the contest. Was the mountain base gone? I wonder if it collapsed. Yeah, it looks like it did. All right. Well, I can actually spawn that back in and show it to you guys anyway. Okay, so let's see. Let's back up here. So on the right-hand side were our two base showcases. We actually have a few more too. Oh, see, yeah, there's a few things that are missing that somebody must have removed. I don't know. There should be another like base right over here too, but it's not here. It was one that Stock Gaming built, but somehow or another got removed. That sucks. Okay. Well, anyway, the base that's directly below me here, called the BLD Hilton, was kind of the funny name that we gave it. This was actually built primarily by Dialphin, who streams with me on Wednesday. She's a good friend of mine, and this was her first base build. She did have some assistance from another player that plays with us. Her name is Thought Dancer, and basically the idea behind that was that when we started Season 8 of Empyrion, our Season 8's multiplayer stream, I basically told them, I said, okay, this time you guys are building the base, and I'm not going to help you. And that's because in previous seasons, I'm the one that always usually built the base for everybody, you know, with help, of course, but usually it was me that was building it. So I said, okay, this time you guys build the base. I'll gather ores for you and, you know, do other stuff, but it's up to you to build our base for Season 8. And so, you know, they worked on this for a long time. Dialphin by far, you know, put the most time into it. And it took them several weeks to get it done, but they did a really good job of it. And we'll actually go in and I'll show it to you in the inside. Now, keep in mind too that for bases, you know, this base was actually originally built on the shore of a big lake that we had on the planet at that time. And so, you know, all of the pillars and kind of weird stuff that you see underneath was. Actually, it looks like someone came along, maybe Commandant or somebody, and put some supports underneath. But this part was all underground here. And it wasn't quite as nice and even as it is now, because those supports were actually added later by Common, I'm assuming. But yeah, this whole part was all underground. And so there was like a little slope here, and the base went up. And, you know, this was all on the ground, right? And so this was our big landing pad here. That we landed our ships and, you know, built other ships and that sort of thing. So this base was tied in the contest. It was tied with Open World Access. He's another player that plays with us on Wednesday nights on his base, and his base is actually on this planet. It was actually built on this planet, and it's not too far away. If I can find it, we'll go take a look at it. I can't remember exactly where it's at, though. Stockbuster, Minimal. That actually might be Stock's base. So we could fly over there. I don't know. I don't remember where OWA's base is. It might be this base here. I think it might be this base. So we could go take a look at that after we're done here. Okay, so... this next base here, this is my build. I didn't enter it in the contest, though. In fact, I didn't enter any of my stuff directly in the contest because I sponsored the contest, so it didn't really make sense for me to enter it myself. But I did enter. I did put my builds in it, you know, to showcase on the stream. And so this is the Sky Needle, and I built it after the inspired by the Space Needle in Seattle, Washington. Because that's actually where I'm from. I was actually born in that, not in Seattle, but in very close to Seattle. In fact, a little trivia for you. I was born in the town of Port Angeles, which is kind of where the whole, what's it called? The whole, you know, the vampire thing where they sparkle. Can't even think what the hell it's called now. That big old, you know, really popular teeny bopper vampire show that you know was really popular. I can't even think of what it was called now. But anyway, I think you guys know what I mean. That was all filmed in Port Angeles and on the Olympic Peninsula in the area that I was born and raised in. So anyway, in Seattle, Washington, if you guys didn't know that, back in the 1960s, sometime in the 60s, they had the World's Fair there, and so they built the Space Needle for the World's Fair. And so, you know, I wanted to do something kind of similar, and so that's what this base is all about. Now, the real Space Needle is 600 and some odd feet high, and this is too. This is almost the exact same height from bottom to top as the real Space Needle. So we're about 600 and change, 600 feet and change up in the sky right here. So really cool base. It needs some work though, and it's a very large base. and so it might not be allowed on on all servers depending upon the settings. But it has been upgraded. Let's take a quick look here. Workshop. So yeah, it's the Sky Needle. It doesn't have... I think it's just that it's the size class that's off here, but it could have some weird blocks in it too, I don't know. But I'll tell you what, if you guys see anything here that you're interested in, let me know in the comments and I can get it up on the workshop for you. I do have this on the workshop, but the version I have on the workshop has not been updated, so it's an illegal version. I don't even know if it's still available. Anyway, so yeah, that's the Sky Needle. And I built that. Oh, the other thing I was going to tell you is I built this in Alpha 3. So this is actually a really old build. We did have to upgrade it because I built it right before they came out with combat steel. And so at the time it was actually all made out of hardened steel. So anyway, okay, so let's go over here. This... Oh, that's just the Welcome Center. That's something that Common built for players. That's not actually in the contest. This Common Hyper Rescue thing was not a part of the contest nor showcased. So that's just Common ship. I'm not sure why he has that there. But if we come down here now, this is where we parked all of the ships that we had for the showcase. So let's take a quick look at those. This was Stock Gaming's Stealth Stalker. I believe it was his first CV that he built. And it is kind of designed to look like a stealth, stealth bomber, stealth fighter, and it's pretty cool. He did a really good job on it for his, first, or one of his very first CV builds. And I think we even have traveled in that once or twice in some of our streams together too. So we'll take if we can get into it, we'll take a look on the inside. Well, we should be able to because Stock and I are in the same faction. And then these were the small vessel and hover vessel entries. Again, yeah, it looks like they removed some of this stuff. I wish they would have left it here, but that's kind of my fault because I probably didn't tell them that they needed to. But anyway, there's one hover vessel that's missing, and there's a couple of small vessels that are missing. So I'll tell you what, let's land the J Jet here, and we'll hop out and get stuck in the process. So we have to actually take that damn window out to get out of our ship. So frustrating. So Stock's capital vessel was actually staged over here, and Common put down these like little signs, for nameplates. And then right here he had a fighter a small vessel fighter that he had built that was really cool. I actually really liked it a lot, and it might be back over at his base over there. I'm not really sure. But anyway, now we come to the Butterfly. Now this was also built by Dialphin, and it was her first SV build. Now she did have a little bit of assistance. She built the whole thing herself, though. She did get some help from some of us, to learn how to do it and stuff. But she actually built the whole thing by herself. She didn't have anybody build it for her, and it's really cute how the ship turned out. So this is what we call the Butterfly. It's a fairly decent sized small vessel. It has room for several passengers, and it's pretty cool when it's all lit up. In fact, it looks like is it lit up right now? Yeah, it is lit up right now. So with the different textures and stuff that she has on it, it's really cool. I'm gonna actually go into God mode here so we can fly around without the drone overlay getting in the way. Well, now that's weird. How is it that one side's powered up and one side isn't? Huh? What? Here, let me look at this. Oh. Maybe it was just the way the light was shining on it. Okay, so when it's all lit up, with the textures and stuff that she put on it and the way she colored it, it looks pretty cool. It looks really neat as a butterfly, and it's got, of course, the little heart thing that on the top. And we're just really proud of her. She did such a good job of, of building this thing. And she likes to, her little trademark is loves and hugs. She likes to say that to everybody. So that was put on the back, and it's really cute. Let's see. Let's go around here and take a look on the inside. So in the cabin here we have seating for 6 people, 6 passengers, and there's also dual cockpits too. The dual cockpits, the idea behind them was that these were supposed to be the eyeballs of the butterfly. But, you know, at the time, of course, we didn't have armored cockpits, so we suggested to her that she cover them in glass, you know, otherwise 1 or 2 hits and the cockpits would get blown out. So she did that. And then, yeah, there's quite a bit of room. I believe it's got all of the, you know, all the equipment that you would need. It's got the constructor and the O2 tank and the refrigerators and all that sort of thing. And it's actually a really cute ship. She did a very good job of that. She's very proud of it, and she should be. She spent a lot of time on it. Okay, next we have another first-time build by another dear friend of mine, Miruski, who plays with us on Wednesday nights. And this is Chester. So she built this ship and named it after Chester Cheetah, you know, the Cheetos mascot for the snack chips. And it's just the most adorable thing. But she's got like the thing I like the most about this ship is she's got like the little fangs and teeth in front. It just looks so cute. And so yeah, this was Maruski's first all by herself small vessel build. She didn't have any. I think she had a little bit of, you know, advice, suggestions, that sort of thing, you know, from some of us, from Common in particular. But she built it herself, just like Dialphin built the butterfly all by herself. And it's really adorable. It's just a cute little small vessel, and it's really neat to see, you know, people, especially with their first time builds, you know, make something like this and make it more than just a, you know, a box with an engine on it. So kudos to both of the girls for those builds. They look really great. Okay, so let's move on to here. Now this is the A-Team van. And this was built by Common Cider himself, our admin on the server, and it is his original build. He didn't get it off the workshop and modify it. He built it originally. It's just really cute. If you guys aren't familiar with the A-Team, I think most people probably are, but it was a show that was very popular back in the 80s. And, you know, we always joke about it because in that show, they usually fired about, 10,000 rounds of bullets, and nobody ever got shot. It's just really funny. And that's kind of where Mr. T, got real popular too, because he was on this show back in the 80s. So anyway, this is the A-Team van. It's kind of designed, it is a hover vessel, and it's kind of designed to be, almost like an RV, a little bit kind of like my RV, because it's kind of has that feel to it. You know, it's like a van. So there's seating in here for 4 people, looks like, and he's got pretty much all of the stuff in it too. You know, it's fully equipped with the med bay and the constructors, armor lockers, and that sort of thing. And this is the front, and it really does, like I said, it really does kind of have that feel of a bus or a van or an RV type of thing. So really cute. He did a great job of it. There's the wheels, and I love it. It's great. And when it's powered up too, now the license plate actually, can we power it up? Let's see if we can power it up here. Yeah, because it's set to public. So on the license plate, he actually put Hannibal, January 1983. Hannibal was the name of the colonel on the A-Team, and I believe he said January 83 is when the show first premiered. So a little bit of an Easter egg there, really cool. And so yeah, Common did a really good job on this, and it's got the little tools up on front and that sort of thing. So kind of an all-purpose vessel, really neat. Okay, cool. So that takes care of the entries other than stock's small vessel. This, like I said, this search and rescue vessel was not in the contest, nor was it showcased. And I'm 99.9% positive this is from the workshop. So this is not, it's Common's ship here on our server, but I believe it was actually, nice trees in there. I believe it was actually taken off the workshop and probably modified a little bit by Common. It is a very cool, okay, yeah, see, it says Common Cider's not responsible for, right, okay. I wondered, does it tell us who did build this? If I can get the P menu to open. Yeah, it doesn't want to open for me. Must be set to private or something. Okay, anyway, yeah, I don't know anything about this vessel. I don't know who actually originally built it. Okay, so you guys have all seen the Blacklight many, many times. And so you've all seen my ships many, many times, my small vessels, my hover vessels, so we don't need to cover those. Let's take a look at Elf's base, though. So we'll start out here on the platform. So this, like I said, this was our big landing platform here. These little blocks here were used to put the butterfly up on stilts so she could work on the bottom part, and she just never actually removed those blocks. Again, this was just kind of a randomly placed storage box for people who are working on ships. This little building over here, we have our repair bay and you know, some food and a refrigerator for someone who needs some quick sustenance. So that was kind of like a little side building there. The solar power they set up over on this side, so this is where all the solar power came for the base, or the panels themselves anyway. The capacitors are actually over on the base itself. And then again, keeping in mind that this was all built on a slope, right? So this was all the ramp kind of going down to the house itself. And then the upper part of the building, it was the garden. So this was all fully planted with plants and so forth, and a processing station and a refrigerator. And then out here was the deck. This is really neat out here because this is, you know, she put some tables out here, colored them differently for other people's, you know, favorite colors in the game. And just really cute here. So you could sit out here on the deck. And again, remember, this was built on the shore. So we had a similar type of view where you could look out across the water and sit here and, you know, sip on a coffee or something. It's really cute how she did all that. And then this is one of the wings. And these are bedrooms here. So the green bedroom she had built for I guess for guests, yeah. I think she said this was actually for Stock Gaming and Calm Insider when they visited, because they're both kind of into green. The green is their color. And so, you know, it's got the couch and the computer desk and a couple bunk beds and that sort of thing, a little storage. Across the way here, she built this room for Thought Dancer, whose favorite color is purple. And so this is when Thought Dancer visits, she can come and stay here in this place. This was supposed to be like her little reading area, so it's got the little bookshelf and everything. The blue room is my room. So this is what Elf set up for Oldguy's room, including my very own bathroom and shower and refrigerator stocked with beer, except for the beer's gone. Somebody stole my beer. What the hell? Anyway, I don't actually drink beer in this game because the hangover it gives you is like completely nutso. Way excessive for just drinking one of them. Now, if you drink 10 of them, that would be different, but anyway, so yeah, that's that wing. And then this wing is same idea. 3 more bedrooms for people. So this was Miruski's room. Miruski's favorite color is red, so everything is kind of red themed in here. Looks really cute. And then I think this is actually just a restroom. Yeah, this is a restroom here on this side of the house. And then this, of course, is Elf's room herself, Dialphin's room. And it is pink themed because that is her favorite color. So, really good job. She did a really good job. Okay, let's take a look at the lower floor. So you can get down to that lower floor via these elevators here, or you can just, you know, come out this way up through the front door, up these really cool steps that she built, and inside here. And this is kind of like the front entrance. So we have like a reception area here. We have some NPC guards guarding the base, and I guess a science lady or something over here. Your medical station, oxygen station, clone chamber, that sort of thing there. And then if you kind of come around the corner, then we have our crafting area, and this is where we had our constructors and our storage and all the equipment, you know, that you typically would have in a base. If we move up through here, we've got some storage. And then off to the side here, we had a couple of furnaces, and those, for whatever reason, didn't come in with the spawned-in base. But this is where we would go to smelt our ore. And then this was just another entryway out to the other side. And then this little corridor leads back up to the ramp. Back up to the ramp here where we came in. So that is that's Dialphin's base. And it tied with OWA's base for winning the contest. So they both won. All right, cool. So I think that's about it. We could take a quick look at the Sky Needle if you want. Again, this is something I built in Alpha. I think it was Alpha 3. It was whatever Alpha, major Alpha it was prior to when they came out with Combat Steel. And I don't remember. I want to say it was 3. I'm pretty sure it was 3, but I can't say for a certainty. But anyway, this is the hover bay. So there's a spot to park, 2 good-sized hover vessels in there if need be. And then around the corner here, we've got a place to park a small vessel that for landing on the ground. And we also have some parking spots up on the disc there too, on the saucer. And then of course the place has guns, quite a few guns as a matter of fact. I had originally wanted to design this base to be used in PvP, but feedback that I got from the workshop at the time that I had posted it was that a skilled player could still fairly easily take out the even with the guns that I do have on it, could take out the stem there. And, the whole thing comes crashing down. So it's not really viable for PvP. It's going to be more of a PvE type of base. But anyway, you go in here, and then basically we have an elevator going all the way to the top. And it does take a little while to get up, all the way to the top. This does bring you out to the upper deck, or deck 2, I should say. And it's kind of like just, an observation deck with guns and that sort of thing. And then the next... Whoops. I'm just going to stay in God mode because it does take a long time to get up here. I wouldn't say this is a real practical base, but on the other hand, you can also fly and dock up on the top too, so you don't necessarily have to come down to the ground unless you're going to be using hover vessels. So level 3 is basically an observation deck, and this is kind of where it starts to widen out or expand out to support the saucer. And so I thought it would be kind of cool to have a little place where you can kind of just look out the window about halfway up. And this is what it looks like, from outside here. All right. And then if we continue on up here, this is the engineering section. So in here we've got all of our, Jenny's. Remember, this was built a long time ago, so it's got old equipment in it. But all of the stuff for... Here, let's put a little fuel in here. There we go. All of the stuff for engineering. A bunch of ammo boxes. It's got anti-personnel turrets, that sort of thing. Okay. And then if we go up a little further to level 5, this is the hydroponics. So all of these 4 quarters have crops planted. And so that's where all the food's made. Okay, and then if we get up to level 6, this is where we get to the actual main area of the base itself. So this is divided into 4 sections. This section over here is the kitchen, a mess hall with several refrigerators and food processors, a place for people to sit down and eat their food. Over here we've got the med bay, so we've got our medical chambers, places for people to lay down if they're sick or whatever. Oxygen is also in this room too. Over on this side we have the laboratories, and we also have an access way out onto the observation deck here, where people can hang out and just enjoy the view. The real Space Needle in Seattle has something very similar to this too, by the way, and it also has telescopes, so you can put like a quarter in and then you can look around Seattle and stuff. So that was all inspired by that. Then this is just bathrooms and showers. So all of the heads are on this side, and then we have showers over on this side with the bathroom vanity and so forth. And then this section is the command and control center. So here we got some constructors, we got some offices, and the main control console of the station and that sort of idea. All right, and then the last area, or the next area I should say, is up here, and this is living quarters. So here we got our TV and our couches, and here's the bunk beds for everybody to sleep in, place to store their gear, that sort of thing. And then this is all just kind of open. I didn't really have anything else at the time anyway that I had to put in here, but I figured this is a very large base, so it would be a good base for a big faction. And then there goes the timer. And then they would have plenty of room to expand and do whatever they want it to do. And then finally, if we go up a little higher here, this leads us out to, whoops, I went too high, the upper deck here. And it also, like I said, has 2 spots for small vessels to land, and several armaments for defending the base. And yeah, and then it just goes up a little further to there, and then the highest place you can get to without flying, of course, is this location here, where you could come out and look out over that way. Okay, so that was the Sky Beetle. I had also spawned in my mountain base, and for some reason that's no longer here. We could try and look at that real quick. So let's see. Let me see if I can just pop it in here real quick, and then we'll just look at it fast. I'm going to need to set that first. And then we're going to go to bases, and we're going to go to the mountain home. Let's just spawn that in. There we go. Okay, so this was my base in Alpha 8. And if you have, if you've already seen Alpha 8, my series in Alpha 8, then you should be already familiar with this base. But if you haven't, then this thing was built on a very tall, very sheer mountain in our Alpha 8 server. And this spot here, it is actually the maximum limit from how big a base can actually be. And so what I ended up having to do is I built this ramp going down the mountain for my hovercraft. That's what this is. And I couldn't build it past this point, so I had to put in another core and visually, line it up, and then essentially create a whole nother base to continue going on down the mountain. So this was really only about the halfway point of this ramp, to give you an idea of how large that mountain actually was. And again, I built the ramp for hovercraft, so I could get the hovercraft up and down the mountain. And I had to put a couple of guns here too, because since I put a new core in, of course the drones would come and try and attack the new quote-unquote base. So again, this is all kind of jagged looking, and remember, the reason being is because most of it was underground following the contour of the mountain. So you can see here we had a pretty sheer, pretty steep cliff at that point. And then this kind of came down into a dip, and there was like a little, almost a landing area there, and then it just kind of continued up the mountain. So it's kind of interesting if you look at this, because again, the shape of the blocks roughly outlines what the contour of the mountain happened to be at the time. And then when we get up here to the base proper, I never did actually upgrade this to hardened concrete, because this was the landing pad. And I was in the path of the drone base, and so I was constantly being attacked by drones. And so I had cannons on all 4 sides, and then but they would always come from this direction. So it was always these guns, and why I added more guns over here that were shooting the drones down at the time. And so this basically was my garage here. And so this is where we parked our, where I parked rather my hovercraft in the lower section. And then we had like a little deck coming out here, and sometimes I get in the hovercraft and I just go flinging right off the side here. And then the upper part, of course, was the garage for the small vessels, so we can park the small vessels in here. Now this was built on, like I said, on a sheer cliff. So you can see how far down the actual cliff went from the edge of this, from these supports. And that's how it was almost vertical. It was so steep that it was almost vertical, and that was exactly what I was looking for this particular base idea. So this thing was really amazing, in its day, because it was built right on a cliff, and there was another mountain across the way, and then there was a valley with a lake in it down below, and it was just the coolest view. So if you guys are interested, I do still have my Alpha 8 season on YouTube on a playlist, and it's available to watch if you want to. Okay, so back to the base here. You can come around this way, and then if you go in through here, this was like the main work area here. I never really finished this base. I had plans to do more with it, build a living area, but I never got around to it for whatever reason. Excuse me. And I never really, did anything color or decoration wise either. So this base is actually kind of unfinished, but it was functional and it got the job done. So of course, here's where all my equipment was, my constructors, my furnaces, and that sort of thing. And then you could go up to the roof here, and I had additional furnaces outside here. At one point, I had one plop down here and two over here. But that's something I added later, and I never actually saved the base after I did that because I just needed extra processing power after a huge ore run that we had gotten. Okay, and then if we go this way, we come around through here, and then this is the farm. So this is where I had all my crops planted, in this little building here. And the crops are still there. All right, so that pretty much wraps it up, guys, for the tour of our showcase. Like I said, Open World Access had a base, and Stock had a small vessel and a base, and neither one of those are here. So, unfortunately, they've been moved, so I'm not entirely sure where they are. I suppose we could... I know we've already gone over time a little bit, but I don't want to make I don't want to make 2 episodes out of this. So let's just take a quick look at those other spots where I think they might be. So Stock's stuff is over here. So let's go this direction. Actually, yeah, that's just a hot skip and a jump away. Speaking of our next episode, the plan now is going to be to start prepping, or equipping, I should say, or supplying, that's the word I'm looking for, supplying the ship for our first major excursion. Okay, yeah, so these are both his items. So the Stock Buster was his small vessel that he entered in the contest. And that's what it looks like there. Well, that doesn't help us, does it? Here, let me land. We'll just do this real quick. Whoop. Okay, so yeah, this is his small vessel that he made. It's really cool looking. If I would have voted myself, I probably would have voted for this small vessel. Nothing at all against the other ones. The other ones are very cool too, but this one just kind of, I don't know, it does something for me, if you know what I mean. It's very cool looking. I like the way that he put it together, and a neat looking small vessel there. So he had that entered, and then the other base that he had entered is what he calls the Stock Dome. And this is designed to be just an outpost type of base, something that you would spawn in on a new planet. It's very compact, but he's got his constructors in here, and I think the logistics are set up. All of the basic equipment that you need in the corners, and solar powered and everything. So it's very basic. It's nothing fancy in terms of being large and having a lot of stuff. It's compact, but it's designed to be that way, and it's really cool. So this is a good outpost type of base, and I'm pretty sure that Stock either has or is planning to put it up on the workshop for anybody that might be interested. Okay, what I'm going to do now, you guys, is I'm going to cut the camera, and I'm going to see if I can find Open World's base. And if I do find it, I will bring you back and show that to you real quick. Okay, so I'll be back here in just a few minutes. Alright, guys, we have found Open World Attic's base, so let's take a quick look at that, and then we'll wrap up the episode here. This is a mountain-based design, again, that he has put together, and he's been working on it for a long time. And it tied with Dielphin's base in the contest for the people who voted for him. So let's take a quick look at this. So he said that he uses this pad here to build ships, to work on ships, and this is unfinished too, by the way. He doesn't have it completely done. And then of course this is his main landing pad here. I turned my auto brake off there. Does he have his base set to public here? Yes, he does. Okay. Alright, and so then you come over here, and he built these cute little stairs that kind of go up the mountainside there. He did a good job of that. I kind of like the way that he used the brick texture on that too. It's really neat looking. And then you kind of come up into here, and then this is the main entryway into his base. So he's got like the reception area, and textured this in the marble type of texture. It looks really cool. He's got some storage and his generators over here, and a constructor. So I believe he uses this as his main crafting area, if I remember right. And then if you go out this door, we have a set of stairs that goes up to his power platform. So this is where he has all of his solar power, his capacitors and whatnot. And he is actually planning on redoing this so the capacitors are not exposed. We did mention that to him, so I think he's going to change that. But again, it's kind of cute how he did this, you know, how he's got the stairs kind of going up the mountain and everything. And then, let's see, let's go back down where we came, and then through here we have his greenhouse. So this is where he's got all of his hydroponics set up, and he set up these little you know, metal girder types of things to hold the lights, which is really clever. I like how he did that. I'm sure he knows he doesn't need a light for each crop plot. He probably just put that in for decorative purposes. And so this is where he grows all of his food. And he's got it colored in green, so it's looking like a greenhouse. And let's see, then if we come up this way, this leads to this upper area. Oh, yeah, there's an elevator right here to get up here. I know I'm still kind of in God mode, but it's just faster that way. And then he's got like a little observation patio up here with different colored seats that people can sit down and enjoy the wonderful view coming out of his base. Looks really good. And then in here is his bedroom, or his master living quarters, or whatever you want to call it. And he's got that all painted in kind of a teal color or aqua color. And he's got a nice view out the window. So this was Open World Access's base, and he did a really good job on this. He also has been working on it for a long time, and like I said, I'm pretty sure he's not finished with it. He's got more work that he wants to do on it. But he plays with us every Wednesday night as well, and he's a good guy. Okay, so guys, I think that wraps up my showcase of our showcase that we had on Wednesday. And so, like I said, I mean, if you guys saw anything in here that you wouldn't mind, you know, that you might want to try in your own world or whatever, just let me know in the comments. Of course, if it's my own build, I'll get that up on the workshop for you. If it is somebody else's build, then I will let them know and ask them to make sure that it's on the workshop. And some of the stuff already is. I'm just not sure if all of it is at this point. Excuse me. Been fighting a cold in the last few days. Okay, guys, so that's about it. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. Come and hang out with us on Discord. Come and hang out with me on a live stream. I do live stream several times a week on Twitch and Empyrion on Wednesday nights for the normal schedule anyway. I do have to take one more business trip at the end of March where I'll be gone for about 5 days or so. But then after that, I should be home all the way until June, and should be able to stick to a somewhat normal schedule at that point. Okay, guys, we'll see you in the next episode. Bye-bye.